So this is what we're going to be talking about today. We have a great example of what each one of you are going through when it comes to the finances. What exactly is happening when you feel like that you are overwhelmed with your debt? What does it look like when you're no longer overwhelmed and you're going to be free very, very soon? This is an example of what a lot of us are suffering with. I'm going to say this loud and clear. It doesn't matter if you make $1,000 per month or if you make $100,000 per month. If you don't know how to use the bank, you're going to struggle. And I see this every day. And it's not your fault. We were not taught how to use our money. So when you don't understand how to use your money, you're going to absolutely be overwhelmed when it comes to payday. I mean, how many of you are overwhelmed when it comes to payday? Because you know that you need to pay your bills, but you also know that you want to go out and have a good time. And you can't figure out how to put those two together. So what I'm going to be showing you today is an example, a real life scenario of what we all are struggling with, and that is how we're going to make our monthly payment. So I've got some numbers on the board, and we have the American average when it comes to income. She literally was right at the average of what the American income is, which hers was 52.90. And this is a biweekly pay, so of course she's going to get the extra check here and there. I'm just going to show you what I showed her as to what I would do in her situation. Now, that's when we have a one-on-one consultation, that's all I deal with is how are you going to handle this situation and how would I handle it if I were in your situation, and I have been. I've been in so much more trouble financially than this lady here, and she was feeling overwhelmed. When I get these scenarios, which is every day, I don't feel your stress because I know how to handle the bank and what those bank tools will do. So when you come to me and you're stressed out, most of the time when I look at the worksheet, I'm like, this person's got it made. This person is just fine. And you don't feel like you're just fine, do you? You feel like that you're going under. You feel like that you can't breathe. You feel like that, what's the sense in working? It's not accomplishing anything. I have nothing to show for it, right? So the point is that we want to get you away from that. We want to get you to where you are feeling at peace. If you were paid today, which is Friday, which is Good Friday, and it's just another day in some people's eyes, but to me, Good Friday has special meaning because that is when the ultimate price was paid for my soul and yours. And, it's an exciting weekend. We're talking about Easter weekend here, and, it holds a lot of meaning for Christians. But today is a payday as well, right? So maybe you're getting paid today and you can't enjoy your Easter weekend because you're broke. And if you're like me, you wanted to go get the Easter basket for your kids, right? You wanted to put the little candies in there. And do you know what a struggle that was for me? Do you know what a struggle that was trying to figure out how I was going to pay for a basic, nothing special, just a basic Easter basket so that my girls could enjoy going Easter egg hunting? Do you know how expensive the plastic eggs seemed to me at one time? You may be in that same situation, but I'm telling you, there's a way out. I want you to get encouraged. I want you to get excited because I'm telling you, This is going to change your life if you will just pay attention to how to use the tools at the bank. And I was speaking with a lady just a minute ago, and she said, you know what? She said, I had no idea that there were these kinds of tools at the bank. And I said, I know what you mean. I never had any idea that a revolving line of credit meant anything different than a loan. So when you go to the bank and you ask for any kind of product that's a loan, a line, a credit card, that bank representative is going to say loan every time, because to them, it doesn't matter what it is, it's a loan. In my mind, it is a totally different ballgame when you're dealing with a line and a loan. But the people that you're talking to at the bank, probably 99% of the time, have no idea that there's any difference between a line and a loan either. So don't get mad at them. Just go in educated so you know what you need to be getting, what you need to be using in your own situation. And let's talk about that right now. This lady, like I said, she has the $52.90 income. She has $1,832 in expenses. Now, this is living expenses. When you guys are filling out your worksheets, you may say, well, what does that mean, living expenses? Your living expenses, what do you have to do every single month, okay, outside of your debt? What do you pay? Do you pay Netflix? Do you pay a cable bill? Do you pay Hulu? Do you pay for an alarm subscription? Do you pay for food? Of course. Do you have restaurants that you like to visit on weekends? Of course. Do you pay for gas for your car? Sure. Do you pay car insurance? Yeah, if you're legal. So the point is what are those living expenses? Some of you guys may pay child support. You're going to need to put that in there as well. As long as you notate every single thing that you spend money for in any given month, that would go on your living expenses. Again, utilities, forgot about them, right? So make sure that you're adding everything that you're spending so that you can have a realistic view of what your cash flow is every month. All right. So some of you guys need escrow, and an escrow account is just extra money that's piling up because you're going to have to pay something out once a year. So this may be your property taxes, your property insurance, right? Maybe you pay your car insurance every 6 months or every year or every quarter. However you pay your bills, make sure that you are accounting that when you're doing your worksheets, when you're learning what your numbers are. So many of you don't know your numbers, and that's okay too. You know, I did not know my numbers. I didn't even want to look at my numbers because I knew it was stressful. I knew that it was going to be on a negative. And it took me a long, long time, and I'm talking years, to sit down and want to look at my numbers. I just felt like I was out of control. And I know you feel out of control. So let's fix that, okay? You're going to be so surprised at how easy your finances get once you just learn to use the tools. You just have to know what you're doing, what you're working with, and how it's going to change your game. And once you understand that the Easter baskets and the Easter eggs and the movies out and the weekend away is absolutely not a problem anymore because you've got your finances in control, it's going to change your financial life. It's going to change your life because now you went from being stressed every single day and, saying, how am I going to make this work, to knowing how you're going to make it work. I'm telling you guys, you're going to breathe again. And if you're having a hard time breathing over your finances, you just came to the right place, because there is a way to get you free. And it may take some of you a minute to get set up because you may have horrible credit. I had horrible credit. But you start at the foundation of what we're teaching on this channel and build your way up. And I'm not talking, when you hear about credit repair, you'll hire some crazy company and they'll say, this is going to take a little time. We're going to work for 6 months on this, and then we're going to work on 6 months on this. But, you're going to have a really good credit score by 18 months. We don't have 18 months. I don't even know if I'm going to be alive tomorrow, much less 18 months from now. I want action now. I am one of these people that when I get a wild hair, I'm going to go do it. And, I'm sporadic. I may decide that I want to go to the beach tomorrow. So I'm not a planner, as in, I don't think everything has to be planned. So that's the way I feel about somebody telling me, yeah, in year 2027, you're going to be able to do. I've always been fly by the seat of my pants. And you may be that way too. But maybe you're a planner. Maybe you got it all together. Maybe your calendar's all filled in and wonderful. That's great. Different strokes for different folks. But the thing is if I decide that I want to go to a movie tonight, if I decide that I want to go to the beach tomorrow, I don't want money to be the reason that I'm not going, right? You don't want that stressor either. And you may be frugal or you may be a spender. But once you know what your numbers are, once you know how to get everything in control, and once you know, hey, if I go out and I splurge and I spend $4,000, I've got a strategy, I've got a plan, and I can do it and have no guilt about it. Now raise your hand if you want no guilt in your finances, because just because we want to go on vacation, just because we want to, get that little extra graduation gift for our kids when they do so well, just because somebody's birthday's coming up, a niece or nephew, and you want to get them something nice, you should not have guilt about that. I'm tired of people telling you and the American people that it's your fault. It's your fault that you're in debt. It's your fault that you don't have a retirement set up and ready to go at 62. Hold on a minute, because I'm going to stick my finger down my throat when people say crap like that. It's not your fault. It's not my fault that I got stuck where I did. The fact is that if you didn't have this going on, you would have plenty of money. What is a $50 movie night for you and your daughter or son, you and your spouse? Let's say $200 night. Let's say that you wanted to go to the melting pot with your spouse and spend $150 on some crazy date that you really would probably do one time and be like, okay, we did that. I'm not doing that again. $200. Okay. Well, let's see here. Well, I'm paying $150 here for one credit card every month. And I'm paying $76 here. Oh, but let's get a little crazier. I'm paying $191 to Best Egg. I know, let's have a moment of silence for how much interest they're paying on this one. One Main, $462. Let's see, moment of silence, because probably 400 of that is going to interest. So if you are throwing away your fun money in interest, is it your fault? Absolutely not. Okay? Why do I say it's not your fault? Because you were set up to do it this way. You were set up. I was set up to say, if you want a home, you have to go get a mortgage. And you have to pay high interest. And you have to pay for 30 years. If you want anything, you go get a credit card, and then you can make a small monthly payment of, I don't know, $57 a month to pay for maybe that big screen TV you wanted. Or maybe you got in a predicament with a car repair and it cost you $2,500. I know is that more expensive than, buying a new car? Sometimes you have to do stuff. I had a client just this week that had $1,600 come up that they had to spend because there was birds nesting around their home and it was ruining their roof because of the way the birds were defecating, is that the word I'm looking for here, on their metal roof. So it cost them $1,600 to get the animals out and away from their house. Things come up that we are not expecting. In this situation, the lady had gotten sick and she was getting into trouble with her finances. So she took out the loans to help get her through what she was going through with her health. So because she did that, she's now sitting at 2 loans that are a couple of years old now. And she's still making those monthly payments, just like a good little girl and a good little boy, right? Make your monthly payments, because that's how our mind is set up. Monthly payments. It's all we hear about. Oh, it's such a small monthly payment. Oh, look, you get to own a big house, a whole $238,000 home for $1,485 a month. Aren't you lucky? Look what we're going to do for you. We're going to give you a car, and we're only going to make you pay $650 a month. So you get to drive around in that car. Monthly payments. That's how we're set up. That's the mindset. Is, you know what? Oh my goodness. I can get to drive a brand new car for $650 a month. Some of you guys are paying $1,500 a month right now for a car or a truck. The trucks are so expensive. We're not talking about a Corvette here. We're not talking about a 911 Porsche. We're talking about a truck that some people must have for their work. And all of you men out there, we all know that you want the truck, and I'm okay with it. But let's figure out how you can get what you want without completely destroying the income that you're bringing in. It's super, super serious when you're talking about finances. It destroys marriages. That's number one on my list. It's not fair. Couples are out working jobs. Each of you guys are working. And here you are finding yourself after your 40-hour, your 60-hour week or more, you're still finding that you're broke and you have nothing to show for what you're out there working for every day. I have been there. I know what that feels like. Literally, you look at your checking account and it's sitting at $10 and you just got paid yesterday. I mean, I don't know who you are, but I promise you that if there's 400 people watching right now, probably 350 of you are struggling financially. And that ought to tell every one of us something. That ought to tell you, wait a minute, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that's suffering. I'm not the only one that's sitting at home on a Friday night because we have no money. Been there, done that. And I'm actually going out tonight. And I want you all to go out tonight. I want you all to enjoy your Easter like you've never enjoyed it before. I want you to be so excited when you sign off of this program right now. And I want to run around the room with you because I'm excited for you. I'm excited for what can actually be happening in your finances that you're not even aware of. You don't have a clue. Why? Wait a minute. I learned this in high school. Why didn't you? No, I didn't. I did not. You know what I learned in high school? Was that it wasted my time. Most of high school for me, most of school up to the point where I learned how to read and learned basic math, the rest of that crap was a waste of my time. And you may have loved school. You may have just absolutely loved going to school. You couldn't wait to get up to go to school. But the ones of you all that are saying that is probably because you enjoyed your friends. Maybe you enjoyed the sports. But it wasn't because of this wealth of information that they were giving you that was going to change your life and get you set on a financial path that by the time you were 62, you were going to be retired and living at the ocean. No, it didn't. We literally learned this stuff because of the grace of God, because there's no other way that it's coming to you. It's not in the universities. So the point is that when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. Is that why you're here? Is because you're here to learn something today and you're going to get your finances in order and you're going to say enough's enough. I'm done with the struggle. I want to breathe again. You can do that. You can do that. Do you know that the average income, household income for the area that I live in? Sit down, because you're probably making double that right now. $3,600 to $3,800 a month, not a week, a month. 2 people working in the home. I said it. And I'm going to tell you, that is not fair because inflation has everything so high right now that if you go to McDonald's, God forbid, to buy your family the food, you're talking about over a $40 meal ticket just for McDonald's. I remember when you could go take your fam out to McDonald's and have 15 bucks in the meal. I see what's happening. The prices are crazy. And if you live in places like California, bless you. I do not want to think about paying $6 a gallon of milk for milk. $6. I don't want to think about having to pay $3.50 for a gallon of gas, much less $8 a gallon for gas that you have to get to work, that you have to have. That's not a luxury. You have to have gas. And they have jacked the prices up so much on that in some of these states. That is not fair. That is not fair. And I'm going to tell you something else. This is not fair. Because this person, like you, like I used to do, think this is the only way. This is the only way, is we got to get loaded up with debt. Because that's why you're working. You're not working to do things for yourself and to be a giver. They've trained us that we work to pay them because we wanted a house, because we wanted a car. I just ask everybody listening to take a step back and think for a minute. Why do you work? When you got out of high school, or if you started work before high school, did you say to yourself, well, self, I'm going to go get a job because, well, I want to pay the bank some interest. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll go get me a job and I'll start paying the bank some interest. No, there's not anybody watching right now that said that. You all said, I want to go get a job so that I can have some money. Because I want to go spend some money. You didn't say, I'm going to go get myself in this load of debt so that I can't breathe and I feel like I got a noose around my neck every day. That's not what our intention was, but we got entangled, right? You get entangled, kind of like the little vines that go up the tree and eventually will kill it because you just are entangled and you think you're never getting out. And that's not fair. That's not fair. Okay. So income 5290, expenses 1832, living expenses, and then the debt payments that she's making is $3,036. This does not include all of her debt. So please don't write me and say, wait a minute, these totals don't come up to $3,036. Well, duh. I know that. And now you know that because I did not list everything that she actually pays every month, okay? Not in debt. We're going to talk about these and what we can do to pull away from these. At least I don't think this totals up because I didn't add it. But I do know she has, how many does she have? 9 credit cards. I've only listed 5. Okay? We good? Okay, we're good. All right, so let's start. This person has a low credit score. So what was the first conversation that we had? I said, hey, dude, you're going to have to get your credit score up a little bit. So let's talk about how to do that. Now, I am not a financial advisor and I am not a credit repair person, and whatever you think I should be, I am not. Okay? But I do know from experience in my own life and the people I work with every single day that if you have a low credit score, and that low credit score is due to the amount of credit cards that you have in balances compared to limits, that's going to bring your credit score down. And for goodness sake, can I say this loud enough? Do not get one of those debt relief companies to ruin your credit. You can ruin your credit all by yourself. You don't need to pay a company to do it. Okay? So she literally has been involved with one of those relief companies. And guess what? Yep, mess up her credit. But she's recovering. It's just that once you're in that, guys, I don't care what name they call themselves, but when they tell you, hey, we can take your credit cards and we can pull it over here and we can negotiate it down for you, and you're not going to pay half of what you're paying right now, and you just pay us the low, low price of 25% of any debt that we got written off for you. Well, throw me your credit cards. I can do that for you. And then you can pay me 25%. I'll charge you 15% and I'll ruin your credit for you. Duh. You can ruin your credit all by yourself. Please don't pay a company to do that by pretending that they're going to get you out of this credit card debt faster. Please don't do that. Okay? All right. So she's going to have to build her credit score a little bit here, because she's sitting at like a 635, I believe, is what she was at. Not the lowest that I've seen, but you know, it'll keep you from getting a line of credit. So this was my suggestion. I make suggestions, you make decisions. Okay. So she has a $150 payment here. So she has a cable bill at $127, which I cut off cable because cable was a waste of money for me. You've probably done the same. When we have YouTube, when we have Hulu, when we have Netflix, when we have Peacock, whatever you have, why are you paying a cable company? Just saying. Okay, so I don't have cable, but she did. Let's see what else she had, just so we're looking. Okay, her gas for her car was right at $200 a month. Her food was right at $600 per month. Now this is a single woman. This isn't a family of 5. So I know you can't get by with a food bill that low with a family of 5. So we're talking about right here, $927 in living expenses just for these 3 things. So I thought, well, if I were in this situation, what would I do? So she has one credit card that's got $150 in payments every month. She has credit card number 2 that has $76 in payments every month. Let's skip over here to card number 4. She pays $143 per month. And then card 5 is $112. The reason that I skipped number 3 is because I always look for the highest monthly payment when it comes to using the credit card for an expense card. Okay. What do I mean when I say an expense card? Well, let's look. So on this card, she pays $150. What happens if we end up taking this card and paying our food expense with it? So $4,444, and then minus $600 in income going into this card to pay for my food throughout the month. This is basic velocity banking. Okay, this is not hard. All of you guys out there probably have credit cards, and whether you need cash flow or not, whether you need to boost your credit score or not, you can do this just for fun. Okay, so let's take our calculators, because I don't do anything without one if I want to do it right. So 4,444 minus 600. $3,844. So when she puts her income into this credit card, which is credit card number 1, she's going to be able to pay for her food now throughout the month. Whether she goes to the grocery store or whether she eats out, she can swipe that card, pay for her food. Now, what did this do? One, when this $600 goes into the card, it satisfies this $150. So did she just gain $150 in cash flow just by putting her income into the card? Yes. Why? Because they were requiring, the card company was requiring $150 on this month to pay a minimum due. When her money goes in to pay for her food, she just satisfied what they were asking for. So now that payment is satisfied and she gained $150 in cash flow. I know some of you are like, what? Okay. So this is one thing we accomplished by the $600 going in. We satisfied the payment. Now, if you are in a negative cash flow, or if you need cash flow, this can be something that you can start today. Look at your credit card debt, look at your payments, look at your living expenses, and then start trading them out. When I say trading, I mean decide that you're going to pay your bills, food bills, cable bills, gas you buy, Netflix you pay for, what else? Alarm subscriptions, any subscriptions. Look at everything that can be charged on a credit card and then decide, hey, wait a minute, Christy said that if I put my income in to cover this expense, that it satisfies that monthly payment due. So I've literally gained $150 in cash flow for that month. All right, so she's going to do this. So let's see what her cash flow is right now. So to find your cash flow, and I'm going through the basics here, guys. It's like I had an extra minute on a Friday to spend with you, and I'm going through the basics of what I teach, okay? So her income is $52.90, so get your calculator and put in $52.90. And then subtract $1,832. Now subtract $3,036 for her debt payments currently. And that means that her cash flow, meaning what she has left over every month, is $422. So this lady's cash flow is currently $422. What happens when we satisfied that $150? Well, her current cash flow is $422. And now we get to add $150 because we now have $572 in cash flow. I hope everybody got that because that's basic math. There's no magic going on over here. This is just basic math. This is what absolutely saved my life, was when I learned how to use my credit cards first. Then we start playing with the other lines of credit. Okay? Now, what happens now? Okay, we can do something else. What if we took credit card number 4 and we decided, well, hey, I have $200 that I buy in gas for my car every month. So why wouldn't I use credit card number 4 to pay my gas? Okay, so what does that look like? Credit card number 4 has $77.27 for a balance. $200 goes in just to pay my gas. So I put the income in that I make already to pay my gas. So throughout the month, I will be using only this card to buy gas. What just happened? That was $143 per month that I'm paying just for a minimum payment on this card right here. So if I come over and look at my cash flow, this has been satisfied. I'm going to add $143 to my cash flow. What? Do you mean that in one day, wait, 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, I just increased my cash flow from $422 to $715. And I didn't get the second job, Dave. I didn't eat beans and rice for this. I didn't do anything different except the way I use my income. Okay. So guys, if this is flying right over your head, go rewatch the video. It'll be kept up as a live on YouTube. Rewatch the video so that you can get this in your head that you're throwing your money away on things that you do not have to be throwing it away on. Okay? Let's try this again. So, income for food's going in this card, satisfying that payment, increasing my cash flow. My gas for my car is going in this card, satisfying that payment, increasing my cash flow. Let's do it again. Cable is $127 a month. I'm going to charge my cable on a credit card. Let's take $112 in credit card number 5. The balance is $35.23. I'm going to put $127 to cover my cable. All right. I'm going to use the calculator. 35.23 minus 127, 33.96. What happened to the $112 payment that I had to make this month? What happened? It was satisfied. What did that do to my cash flow? Did I just almost double my cash flow within 2 minutes? Did you get the second job? Did you deliver pizzas last night and get a bunch of tips? I know your next question, but wait a minute. What are we never paying down the credit card debt? Well, let's talk about it. Now that you've almost doubled your cash flow, well, wait a minute. Why wouldn't we put the new cash flow on a credit card and pay that balance down. Or better yet, what if we find something for this $1,930 balance over here that we can pay to, gaining $57 in cash flow, and putting our cash flow in here and almost paying that off? You're going to pay it off by half just by using the cash flow that you do now. This is what happened for me. I only had baby credit cards because, well, I was broke and had horrible credit, and they wouldn't even let me get a credit card for over $1,000. Okay? So, we saw this. If you need to watch this again, go back, get the live on YouTube and watch it again. Okay? But let's start with this card. So we're going to keep our new cash flow, which is $827. Let me erase this off like a good little girl so I can make lots of room. All right, $827 is our new cash flow. So I'm going to write it, new cash flow, $827. Okay. So let's see. All right, let's think. Let's everybody think together. What else do we spend in a month that we could put on another credit card? Or maybe you can divide up your food and put it into another credit card. So 300 in this one and then 300 in this one. Come up with something, guys. I know you're smart enough to figure this out. You were just never shown this before. Okay? So let me think about my own. What would I do? Okay, so phones, electric bills. What else do we spend money on? What is my car insurance? Okay, so let's do car insurance because everybody has to have car insurance if you're going to be legal. So car insurance. Now, in her situation, it was about $300 a month, I think, or $300 a quarter. Okay. So if she was going to pay that for the quarter, which is what I ended up doing when I first started using my credit cards, right? But let's just pretend that it's $100. Okay. So car insurance is $100 per month. Now looky here. $1,027 of her expenses has been put on a credit card now. And the peace has come because a few things. You can have these set up automatically. You can keep a card in your purse to go swipe at the grocery store, at the gas station, and you're not guessing anymore how much do I have in my checking account. Because you have already been putting your income into these cards, and now you're just using them as you need them. Okay? All right, so car insurance is going to go in. We could do either one, but let's just say, because we're going to work on a payoff. So let's say $57 has now been satisfied. Credit card number 3. $1,930. Let me separate that a little bit so you're not getting confused. $1,930 is the current balance on number 3. We're going to put in 100. That's going to be covering our car insurance. All right, so we're at $1,830 now. So whoever said, but you never pay off the credit card. Well, first off, $827 was our cash flow, right? What is it now? Plus 100, that's a 920. Oh my gosh, we doubled plus our cash flow. We doubled it. doing nothing but, yeah, garbage. There you go. You're all thinking, yes. Okay. Doing nothing but using our credit cards as expense cards. Okay. So $927 is our new cash flow. What happens if I put my $100 in here and then I think I think that I'm going to use my cash flow to pay off this credit card. What just happened to the balance? Let's take 1830 minus 927. How fast was that? What happens in month 2? Even with the interest, this card's paid off? What, Christy? We paid off a credit card that was at $2,000 nearly in 2 months, and I don't have $2 to my name? Okay. So if we take this one in month 2, and let's just pretend, okay? We're going to pretend that we're in month 2, and here we are. So we put in, let's calculate our insurance. Let's calculate our interest. And we're going to say it's at 29% because that's what those credit cards love to charge us right now. So we're going to take it on the high. We're not going to play with the lows. We're going to take it on the high because I know we can win. So 1930 times 29%. So let's do the math together. Let's do some interest math. 1930 times 29% equals, are you doing the math with me? $559.70. Oh my gosh, that's $559.70. No, it's not. That's for the whole year. That's for the whole year. Okay? So for the whole year, we paid $559.70, but how much are we going to pay for a month? Let's divide that by 12 months. So we're dividing by 12. So $46.64 is the interest that will be charged on this card if, please listen, if you allow your credit card to sit at $1,934 or $30 for the whole month. We're not doing that with Velocity Banking. We are using our income so that we are reducing the interest that we're paying. So, but let's just pretend. Okay, so $46.64. So that's our interest, $46.64, and let's just make it 47 to make the math easy. So $47 in interest applied. So we've got $950 for our balance. And oh my goodness, we could still do $100 going in to cover our car insurance. But what happened? Do you see? We have $927 in cash flow here. We can only put $850 in here to pay this sucker off. We can keep using this for car insurance, or we can move it over to another credit card. So the $850 goes in here to pay the card off. You still have, so let's do our math, 927, subtract 850. We still have $77 that we could start on credit card number 2, or we could start on credit card number 1 or number 5, whatever floats your boat. Okay. Okay, so Isaac, you're asking why I charged the interest off of the high. I only did that to show that you're going to win no matter what your interest is. Because people are so concerned about, well, what's the interest on that HELOC? What's the interest on that credit card? What's the interest on your personal line of credit? I don't care. We just showed you can pay 29% on the high balance and win. What would the real balance be here on interest? Well, it's an average. So the average daily balance is what the insurance companies, is what the credit card companies charge the interest. That's how they calculate it. Okay. So if you're taking the average of 1930 and 903, divide that by 2, that's $1,400 and about $17 that they're going to be charging or calculating the interest on. So take that times 29%, divide by 12, it's going to be about $35, not $47. Okay? This is basic math. Basic math. Okay? So let's keep moving. So we paid off this card. Credit card number 3 is gone. How long? How long did it take you? 2 months? And you had extra to go on another card. So remember that from the 927 to the 850, we had $27 left over. All right, so we are going to keep moving. I'm sorry, 77. So we're going to keep moving over here. And the reason that I'm leaving these expenses up is so that you can remember that these cards have certain things going on them to cover our living expenses that we're already paying. You're already buying food every month. By golly, use a credit card to do it. Okay? All right. So let's go to the next card. We paid this one off. Let's do this one, because we're still paying for this card every month. So let's go ahead and move our car insurance over to credit card number 2. So 2136 is credit card number 2's balance. We're going to, we already paid the $100 on the credit card before for the car insurance. So let's don't pay it this month, okay? Let's just do that $77 that we had in cash flow. Oh my gosh, what just happened? Did you do magic? No. This was $76 per month. We're putting our $77 in cash flow in here. You satisfied that monthly payment. Now you've got $76 in cash flow over here. So let's do, oh my goodness. Are we now at $1,003 in cash flow per month? just because we're using our credit cards the way they should be used instead of the way they taught us to use them with making that minimum payment every month. Let's keep moving. So 2136. And then we're going to subtract 77 because we made that payment in here. So 2059. All right. So let's move on to month. Are we in month 3 now? Month 3. Okay, so we're going to take in month 3 the car insurance and we're going to put it over here. So let's just do our numbers. We're at 1959. Then we have $1,003 that doesn't have anywhere to go because we have really increased our cash flow and we're paying off debt. So let's put $1,003 of our cash flow into this card. Okay. What? We've almost paid off another credit card and we're not doing anything. We didn't get the second job. We're not delivering pizzas. We're still paying for our food and our gas and everything that was already in our living expenses. Right? So now let's do it. We're going to figure, let's just calculate that the interest on the high again, 2136 at 29%, because it doesn't get any higher than that usually, times 29%. Let's do the math again. We want you all to understand without having to pay a guru to tell you what you need to do with your finances. So 2136 times 29% equals $620.31 for the whole year. Interest for the whole year divided by 12 is $51.69 for the month. Now remember, they don't charge off of the high. They don't calculate your interest off of the high. They're doing it off of the average daily balance. So it would not be this high, but we're going to do it anyway because we're proving that whatever your interest is, you can beat it if you're doing velocity banking most of the time. Okay, so we're going to say $52 in interest. So $52 in interest. We're adding it in. Oh, wow. Wow. Month 2? What do you think? What do you think about that? Don't I have to answer this? So what do you think about that? Card number 2 is paid off in your 4th month. So how much have you paid off in debt? Well, you paid off card number 3 at $1,930, and you paid off card number 2 at $2,136. So you have paid off $4,066 within 4 months. Doing nothing but using your income to serve you instead of serving the banks. You got to be disciplined with the cash flow. Oh my gosh, you're already throwing away your cash flow in your interest payments. You gained cash flow because you got smart and you started using your income to serve you instead of serving the bank's interest. Stop with the negative. You don't even have cash flow to be disciplined with because you're throwing it away, Mr. or Mrs. Discipline, to the banks. It is not rocket science. It is not hard to get your finances in order. You just have not been taught how to do it. This is easiest thing you're ever going to have done right here is to get your finances in order. So I'm telling you, you can do this with these simple little strategies right here. Okay, so card number 2, card number 3 is paid off. Let's just mark them off. What do you do next? You could move to card number 1, card number 5 even, card number 4. Okay, you decide what it is that you want to do. You know what kind of situation that you're in. All right. So I get so tickled because YouTube does not like for me to teach people. They don't like it. They just don't like it. Yeah, pick any card, any card. Exactly. So if we are looking at how to keep moving into month 5, you're going to be so super shocked when you realize that your credit score has jumped up 100 points. So while you thought you were just paying off credit cards, the bank thought that you were finally using your credit cards the way they were set up to be used, and that's going to most of the time give you a large boost on your credit score. So by month 5, what do you think that is going to happen with, do you think you're still going to be moving in these little baby ways with your credit cards? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're going to move into a true line of credit that's going to completely change your whole financial situation. And what does that mean? Well, let's look at it. Okay, so we've gotten rid of 2 cards while we have gained cash flow, and we're at 1,003. I'm just going to write this up here so I don't forget it. So the new cash flow is $1,000, $1,003. Okay, wait, I have one more thought here. Let's just think of one more thing here. We've paid off the 4,000. $1,003. I want you all to stick this in your pipe and smoke it. When you're concerned about that emergency fund that these gurus are telling us, oh, you've got to have an emergency fund. You got to have $1,000. You know what? If you can just put it somewhere that you're not going to spend it, but save that $1,000, because guess what? That's not going to pay for anything that's an emergency in this day and time. We're not in 1960 anymore, Dave. We're in 2025 and things are freaking expensive. So that $1,000 that he says that you have to have set to the side, let's get some common sense here and say, well, wait a minute. I have 2 credit cards now that I could use if I have a flat tire come up. I have $4,066 I paid off in the last 3 months that I'm going to have money when something happens. Sure, something's going to happen. That's life. Get over it. But the thing is are you ready for it? We are in a credit society, not a cash one. They are trying to take cash away. I don't ever think they will, because the drug dealers use cash. No, nobody messing with them. Oh yeah, it's going to be, $450 for this nickel bag. I need your credit card, please. Come on, get real. You could use your PayPal to pay for that, No, you can't. No. Why? Because the government's going to tax it. Right? So let's get real for a minute. But the fact is that we are in a credit system. Thank you from 1913. The gold standard went out the window. We are all credit. Okay? So have credit available. Credit cards are your friends if you're using them like I've been showing you here today. All right, so if we all stress-free? Everybody happy? We've got $4,000 for our emergency fund. Like that, Dave. It didn't take me no time, no second job. I didn't eat beans and rice this week, not once, not even this month. And I have $4,000. Okay? So we're safe. If I break my arm this week, I'm gonna be able to pay my cash flow or my co payment or whatever they call it. I'm gonna be able to pay for it and no stress. Do you know what? You did what? You took your kids overnight somewhere and you spent $1,000? Sinner. No. You got to enjoy some time with your kids to make a memory. And you spent $1,000 that you've just created room in your credit cards using your money right. And how am I going to pay that off? I wasn't very disciplined with my cash flow. Duh. The point is to live. I'm not frugal, and I'm not asking you to get frugal. I'm asking you to put your money where it's going to serve you, where it's going to help you and your family enjoy the life that you've been given by God Himself. Not to pay bills. So you take 1,000 and you go to Gatlinburg for the weekend. Guess what? You've got $1,000 in cash flow. You're going to be able to pay that off in a month. And guess what? Your kids will say, Mom, you remember when? Hey, Dad, you remember when? We got to go ride all those rides and have a good time that day? That is priceless. Priceless. I would give anything to go back when my kids were little so that we could go make those memories. Not where I was so stressed I couldn't even miss a day of work, because if I didn't get that paycheck, in full, we were going to be late. We were going to be late on something. Live. Use your money. It's your money. It's what you're getting out there and killing yourself to do. Use it in a way that's going to help you live a fantastic life. Okay? Now, we're moving on. We've paid off $4,066 within 4 months. We may have even gone to Gatlinburg and spent $1,000 on our kids. I know, I'm talking sin talk here. I get it. Send me an email, Dave. I'll go to confession. Just saying. Breathe. Wow. Okay. So we are going to talk about what happens when your credit score really took an increase because you've been using your money right. Okay? Do we come here and say, okay, now I went to the credit union and they had a credit card there or a line of credit that they gave me $10,000. Okay? Not difficult at all if you have a credit score of over 660 when you're looking at a credit card. So the credit union credit card is, let's just say it's $6,000. Let's don't go over our head here, Christy. I mean, I don't think that I can get a $15,000 line of credit. So let's say 6,000. Okay, you already had the credit cards here in this amount. Money says you can get another one when you get your credit score up, but let's just say $6,000. So the credit union credit card, now let's talk about that. I have a checking account with my credit union or my bank, and they have a credit card, and they just approved me for $6,000. And so what does this look like? Okay, so I make $5,290, and that's going to come into my checking account, and it's going to sit here because if I'm going to do things the way I've been doing them my whole life, then I'm going to let my gas come out of here. I'm going to let my house payment come out of here. I'm going to let my car insurance come out of here. I'm going to let my food come out of here. And then, in 2 days, I'm going to have zero because I'm living out of a checking account. But this isn't the fantastic way. So we're going to no, stop it. Stop it. You're not living like this anymore. No. We're going to take this $6,000 and we are going to pay off Best Egg. So now we don't have $6,000. We only have a balance over here now of $5,454. So this is our balance on the credit card because we paid off Best Egg. What did that do for our cash flow? We have $1,003 now. We're adding $191. So now our cash flow is $1,194 per month. We're in month 5. Are you trying to tell me that we started out with $422 in cash flow in this scenario, and in our 5th month, we're at almost $1,200 in cash flow, and you didn't go get another job? Almost angering, isn't it? That you've been sitting there struggling? and all you didn't know was how to use your money? This is why I started the channel. This is why I started the channel, is because I knew that if I didn't know about this stuff, that there was probably, oh, I don't know, 700 million people out there that didn't know about it. This is free information. There's nobody asking you to pay them for anything. I'm not asking you to buy a book. I'm asking you to watch a video so that you can breathe. Let's keep moving. So we paid off the best egg. What happens now? Well, hello. My income just came into my checking account, and maybe, okay, for you guys that are like, oh, but I don't make $5,200 a month in one lump sum. I get paid every other week. All right, I'll play your game. So $5,290 divided by 2, because, well, I make $2,645 every 2 weeks. Or maybe you get paid weekly, whatever. So $2,645, my income comes into my checking. When you have a credit card with the same bank as your checking account, at least this is the way mine works, is you can transfer $2,645 into this account. You can do it on your app on your phone. Did it today. Okay? So if you're with a credit union or a bank and you have a credit card there, see if you can't do that right now. It may change everything. So 54.54. Subtract out your income, $2,645. $2,809 is your new balance. I know you have to pay your expenses. You have to pay the rest of the debt you have left here. You've got monthly payments. Guess what? I keep dropping this. Okay, so I'm going to do this left-handed so you can see me. This is going to be great. My house payment comes in $1,485. Ooh, what's just happened? I transfer $1,485. Well, my checking account's back down to 0 because I took the $1,485. Wow, I cannot write left-handed. And I put it back in this account. So now my balance on the credit card is $32.94 because I transferred out for my mortgage payment. Okay, let's do it again. So the mortgage payment came in. Now, when I'm going to transfer the income that I use into this card, and remember, card number 1 does our food, right? So the $600 is going to come in due, because you probably do an online payment to your credit card company if you're like me. 600 comes in. I transfer 600. The checking comes back down to 0. Then I've got 600 more on my balance here. Let's do it again. The credit card number 4, we paid the 200 gas on. So we've done an online payment for $200 to cover our gas for the month. So we're doing the same thing. The 200 clears our bank. We have 200 over here ready to pick it up. Keep that at 0. Now we have 4,094 over here. So do you see how you use the line of credit like your checking account? Revolving. Is that what they're called? Is a revolving line of credit? Yeah, that's why they're called a revolving line. All your income can go in, all your expenses can come out. Okay? So the moral of the story is everything's going to hit your checking and then you're going to pay it back out. So you're building this back up. But guess what? Look at the hit the balance took. This is going to do nothing but help with your interest that you're going to pay on this account. And so we're going to run the math. Okay. So I showed you how you pay your monthly expenses out of this. Now, let's talk about how we're going to pay this credit card balance off. So with your new credit card line of credit, you paid off the $54.54. All right. So your income goes in. Total for the whole month, $52.90. Income in month 1. So let's do 54.54, 52.90 out. So, oh my gosh, what? But wait, we were paying $191 on this last month. Where did it go? Was it magic? No. It's math. So now let's see what your expenses are. So we had $3,036 was our debt payments when we first started this video. We're using our food to pay this $150. So 3,036 minus 150, because we satisfy this payment with our food. If you didn't catch all that, you need to go back and watch the live video when it uploads on YouTube, okay? So let's take our 3,036 in expenses or debt payments first. We're subtracting the 150. We're subtracting the 76 as we paid that off. We're subtracting the 57 because we paid that off. We're subtracting the 143 because our car insurance is paying that. We subtracted the 112 because our cable is paying that. We've got 55 we're still paying. We should have already gotten rid of this. Should have paid this off, but it's okay, we'll catch it. The 191. Now let's see what our debt payments are. So 3,036, subtract these that we no longer have. Okay, so that means that our debt payments now are $2,307. Okay. So we still have our living expenses, right? $1,832. We still have the same gas, food, water, electric, all that fun stuff. But our debt payments have come down because we're eliminating the debt. So let's add $2,307 because we had to pay our debts. They came out of that checking account and we transferred them out of the credit card into the checking. So all in all, this is an overview. You now have to pay your debt into the credit card. So 2307, 164. Your balance is 2471. And your living expenses now, food, gas, electric bills, all that fun stuff. Got to put them in here. So we're at 4303. And now let's calculate what our interest is looking like. Now, on the credit union credit cards, the interest is usually around 13 to 19%. So let's charge it at 19% interest. And we're going to take it off of the high. I don't do this low balance thing. The point is your interest does not matter if you're using Velocity Banking correctly. So 19%, 54 of your high balance times 19%. Do we need to do this again so you all understand this? So we do $5,454 times 19% equals $1,036.26. This is for the whole year. This isn't for the month. This is for the whole year. Divide that by 12 equals $86.35 in interest. So let's add $87 in interest to make it easy. $4,390 is your balance. Now in month 2, let's take our income. Did you all just see that? Did you see the magic trick I just did? Did you see that? I can't get my whole income into this account. I can't do it because the account is only $4,390 to pay it off. So what do we do? Well, wait a minute. We have an Affirm loan over here for $1,480, $81. What if we pay Affirm off with the credit card? And what if we gain $250 in more cash flow? And now, let's see, what is our new cash flow? $1,444 is our new cash flow. Now, what month are we in? So if you've been watching with me the whole time, then we are really in month 6. Month 6. So, and we're doing high interest. Wow. Okay, so let's keep moving. So let's erase this because we got our interest. Let's see, we've got, if I can do the math, 71, 8 and 5. So we're at $5,871. I hope you all can still see this. 5871. Oh my goodness, now our income can go in. Income for month 7 goes in. So 5871 minus 5290 throughout the month. Oh my goodness. I know, we still have to pay our monthly expenses. So let's add them. But first, we have to take the 250 that we just paid off of what our debt payments are. So 2307 minus 250. So now our debt payments are 2057. So we'll have to pay our debts out of this account, 2057 payments. Now we have to pay our living expenses, as we have to buy food, gas, pay our utilities, all that fun stuff, whatever you pay every month. All right, so 581. And then 2057 and 1832. $4,470. Let's add our interest in there. Let's take it off of the high. So we're going to calculate 19% on 5871 times 19% divided by 12. So $93. Interest. So our balance at the end of month 7 is $4,563. Month 8, we don't have room to put our income back in. So do we need to pay some more debt? I think so. So what do we want to hit here? How about the care credit, $882? Let's pay that off, which it would be less than this because we've been paying now for going into, what are we in? That we're going into our 8th month, so this is care credit. So let's add that. Now our income can go in, and what does it do throughout the month to this balance? This is income in month 7. $52.90. $155. Well, I mean, come on. And we're just using a $6,000 line. We're not using first lien HELOC to pay off all of your debt. Yes, she could move into that, and yes, it's going to really get things under control quickly. But now she's going to be adding in her debt payments. This $55 is going to add to her cash flow because she paid off care credit. So now she's got cash flow of $1,499 now. And we're just in the 7th month. 7 months ago, she only had $422 in cash flow, and she had a crap load of debt. We can keep running down the numbers here if you want to, but the point is that within the first year, she is about going to have everything paid off except for her home. And she was literally stressing out when she came to me. Okay? So when people tell you you need to get a second job and you need to sit at home and you don't need to let your kids do anything extracurricular because you can't afford to do that, is it that you can't afford to do it, or are you sitting back letting the banks just steal your money? You have got to be seriously considering what you're doing with your income. Now, once you get your debt under control and once you realize, wait a minute, I'm not stuck. I'm not stuck. I can do this. I was just not understanding how the bank tools work. But once you realize that you're not stuck, do you know how quickly your savings is going to grow? Do you know how exciting it is to do the infinite banking concept? Do you know how you're going to leave a legacy for your children that you never thought was possible? All because you learned how to use your income that you're out there working for every single day. And if you have the second and you have the third job, please get serious about where you're putting your money. Please learn some things. Self-invest, meaning, I'm not going to say it. Yes, I am. Why are you putting money in a 401k that doesn't serve you? I know. Oh, wait, it's that lie they told you that you're going to put your money in here and we're going to keep it nice and safe for you until you turn 59 and a half. And let's hope by the grace of God you make it to 59 and a half. You could be using your money right now instead of waiting for the dream. Oh, when I get 59 and a half, I'm going to have $200,000 and I'm going to live free. No, you're not. No, you're not, because they're feeding you to death. Okay? Do you think that they're holding your money because they love you? They're holding your money because they're using your money. And if you touch it, you're going to get penalized. And if you touch it, you're going to pay taxes. But they can use it freely while they've got your money imprisoned where you can't touch it. For goodness sake, get educated. Do you know that if you have $1 million in the 401k and you're 58 years old, that you can't do anything but take a loan on it, and a loan only up to $50,000? I don't care if you have $10 million in that 401k. I dare you to take a withdrawal, and they're going to punish you because you're a bad boy or you're a bad girl. You should not have touched your money. And I want to laugh out loud. I'm going to laugh out loud. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to hold it in. When that lie comes across and says, well, we're giving you somewhere to put your money so that you can have a tax write-off, because you're not going to have to pay taxes on that money if you put it in our little fund to protect it. Wake up. My taxes are a whole lot more expensive now than they were when I was 20, 30, 40 years old. My husband fell into that lie. Oh, he's so upset about it. He did the deferred comps. He did the 401ks. He put all of his money in there like that he was being great for his future. Well, guess what? He's not 59 and a half yet, and he's been retired for a couple of years now. He can't touch that money in there. And guess what? He's paying a whole lot higher taxes today than he was 10, 20, 30 years ago. What happens if you pay the taxes on your money to do something wise with it, like pay off your debt where they're charging you this ridiculous interest over here, or put your money and your savings into an infinite banking concept instead of into junk, and you're able to use it today if you need it. And you're not going to be taxed on it today once you pay the initial taxes. I'm telling you, we have got to wake up, because this is complete delusion of we're doing it all right. We're doing it right. No, you're doing it like you were told to do it. You're doing it like you were trained to do it. So anything that comes across today and it says, you know, put your money in here and it's going to give you a tax write-off, and then, when you're 59 and a half, you're going to get to take it out and get to pay taxes on it. Then taxes have only gone up since I was born. So if they keep going up, then what's the lie that you're going to pay less taxes when you're 59 and a half? That's not even common sense. But we all fell for it, and we continue to fall for it every single day. And you continue to leave a savings account sitting in your bank when you're sitting over here paying interest. Does that make sense? Well, you got to have a 6-month fund. You got to have 6 months of expenses. Well, I tell you what, if you weren't paying the interest over here, you would have a 6-month fund built up, and you're not even doing anything. And let's look at that. Let's just look at this right here, because we've shown that she's going to be out of debt almost completely, except for her home, within 12 months. She's going to feel a whole lot better about everything today because she's got her debt under control. And like I said, if you haven't seen what we were talking about, go back when this live uploads and rewatch it from the beginning, because we show you a breakdown. I show you a breakdown of how she eliminated this debt and how quickly she did it. Okay? No, a 401k is not liquid. And no, you shouldn't liquidate it if you've done it, because they're going to penalize the hell out of you. So don't do that. What did I do with my lid? Oh. So let's talk about interest. So we have a person, I see this every visit, nearly every virtual that I do. I will have somebody that they have some amount, whether it be $1,000 in savings, or whether it be, I have seen $150,000 sitting in savings, and people have debt like this. I know. I'm like, what the heck? Well, they told us that we need to have a 6-month savings fund in case of, that emergency happens. Okay. So you're going to pay it to the bank? Do you really have a savings account? Let's see. So if this person had $8,000 in savings, okay? Let's just say they've been really saving their money, and so they have $8,000 sitting in a savings account. Okay, so let's just take $8,000 worth of credit cards. Let's take 444 plus 2136. All right, and then we'll take the 882. So this is $7,461 in credit cards. Now, this is a real scenario I worked with today. Now, with these credit cards, most were at 28.99%, but this Care Credit ripoff, I said that out loud, was over 32%, 32.65% in interest. So we're going to do times 30, no, we're going to do times 29% because most of them were 28.99. So let's just do, heck, let's do 25% interest. Let's act like we live in a world where they don't rip us off. Okay. So 74.61 times 25%. So that's $1,865.25. All right, so this is interest charged on $7,461 for an entire year. Okay, now divide that by 12. So $155.43 per month for interest on just this. She has all of this. We're just doing this. 3 cards. So the interest. Okay. So is your $8,000 in savings, is it growing by $155.43 per month? No. If you have a savings account that's drawing you 25%, please call me today because I want to jump into that savings. So if your savings is not drawing 25%, but yet you're paying 25% on the same amount, do you really have $8,000 sitting in your account right now? Or is it a delusion? Because you're actually throwing away $1,865 in 1 year in interest. So if you take $1,865 off of your savings for that 1 year, do you really have $8,000 sitting in savings, or is it a delusion because you've spent it out of your income? Think about what you're doing if you have a savings account, but you have debt, because they're sticking you some way. The point being that if you have the line of credit that we just talked about, and you pay off $6,000 in debt with that line we just talked about, 6,000 of your savings can go back into the line. And what happens? You've eliminated the interest over here that you were paying on whatever debt. But what happens with your savings? Did your savings really disappear when you used it to pay off debt? Or did you gain the credit cards and now you have $7,400 in credit cards available balance that you can pay for anything with except for another loan, a mortgage, a car, or another credit card? You have the emergency fund in your credit. With the credit card I just showed you that was linked in my checking account, I can transfer cash over to my checking account anytime I want it. Savings. I transfer money from my line of credit into my infinite banking policies, growing at compound interest and paying dividends, and it's guaranteed not to lose it. Are you guaranteed not to lose your money that's sitting in the savings account at your bank? We have to think. We have to think. And it's super important that we think for ourselves because we're inundated with messages about these payments. Wow, go on right now. Look up a mortgage. Go on right now online. Look up a HELOC. Do it. Look how they're going to sell you that. And they're going to tell you that a home equity line of credit is the same thing as a home equity loan. Get educated as to what you're really buying into. And like I said, when you know what those retirement accounts are doing, that they've told you is the best thing you can do for 30 years, and then you get to retire, think about that. Get educated on what it is that you need to really be doing with your cash flow every month. Get educated on the different tools that you can use for savings instead of savings accounts and retirement funds. It's just super, super important that we learn how to use our money. And in today's time, when inflation is eating up everything that you're bringing in, and then you have interest eating that up beside of that, I don't know how some of you are eating. I don't know how you're eating. When you look at what's going on with our money. I'm 53. I'm doing it. Stop using. We aren't eating. Shannon, I read that. I'm sorry. That's so sad. You probably aren't eating. That's how sad it is. It's just so sad because it's not fair. It's not fair what we've been sold. I'm from the 80s and I will forever be grateful for being born in the era of growing up through the 80s. Loved it. Wouldn't take nothing for it. Think it was an awesome time, but I remember the messages they were giving us in high school. Oh, I remember them. You got to get a job that you're going to be in for 30 years because when you get in that career and you sit there for 30 years, you're going to have a retirement fund and then you get to retire and woo, we're going to live forevermore. And guess what? If you don't die before you're 59 and a half, if you don't die before you're 62 or 65, a lot of people I went to school with are dead. It's by the grace of God that I'm here. So why are you waiting for something that's going to be coming in the future that is a complete lie? Do you know that only 5% of 100, okay, so 5 out of 100 people really ever find financial independence of any sort? 95 people out of 100 are broke as heck. Do you know how many people that I work with that are in their 70s that can't breathe because they can't make it financially? I mean, the lie goes on and on and on from everything to do with your money. And you have resources on YouTube that can teach you how to use your money in a way that is absolutely going to change your life and your children and your grandchildren. And that's what the channel is about. That's what the channel is about. Is you've got to learn how to use your money in a way that is going to not just give you financial independence and peace today, but for your retirement. If you're already there, guess what? You're just like me, and we're just going to keep doing the best we can with what we've learned, and you're going to be happier that you decided to do it this way. But you can't keep living like you are and expecting things to change. And for goodness gracious, please don't think that the government's going to step in and make your day. Lord have mercy. Don't do that. This is wisdom that I feel is straight from the Lord. And if you're here, you've probably been praying for an answer. I know I was praying for an answer the first time I ever learned about velocity banking. So if you've been praying for an answer on your finances, you have arrived. This is amazing, and it's going to change your financial life. But you have to get educated. Like I said at the beginning of the video, when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. Old Chinese proverb, and it is super, super smart. Okay? So it's literally your decision on how you handle your money. And now you have learned a little bit of wisdom today. And if you keep watching the videos on this YouTube channel, you're going to learn different facets of how you can make things happen. And if you can't make it happen with a line of credit right now because of your credit and you're really super anxious, then the Money Max is your answer. I'm just saying, you have got some really good avenues to start today. If you didn't see this whole video, this whole live, watch the live after it uploads to YouTube. Go back to the beginning because I broke this down just as simple as I can break it down. Okay? And yes, you can use a secured card if you have the savings to back that up. Okay? I am going to get off of here because me and my husband have date night tonight, and I'm going to get rested up and get ready for that. And I want you all to have date nights. I want you all to spend time with your children. I want you to get ready for your summer vacation. I want you to get ready for Christmas. And I want you to get so excited about life that you're just jumping up and down. Because whether you're 25 or whether you're 95, you deserve to be excited about life and not swimming in debt and not suffocating. Okay? I want you guys to have a blessed Easter. I want you to remember that the Lord Jesus Christ is the reason we're set free, that we have help from Him if we ask and if we're His. So definitely get educated on what He can do in your life, because there is no life if you don't have that fulfillment there. It's super important for your eternity that you're ready, and not just for eternity. You know, I grew up on that, like, oh, well, you know, if you want to go live in heaven, then you gotta know Jesus. Well, guess what? He's right here right now, and he's helping me every single day, and I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about it because I can ask him when I need answers, and he gives them to me. Okay? We're not going to get away from that. We got to be ready. All right, guys? So, I thank you guys for joining me today. We had a large crowd today. Had a very large crowd. A lot of people got to hear some stuff today. And you know what? I am just so thankful that the good Lord has put me in the position that I can come on here and give you this free information. If you pay another guru to do anything, I'm going to have to, I don't know, strangle you. Because these guys are out here charging you so much money. I heard of one, I think it was last week, that was charging $7,000 to teach you how to do velocity making. And I'm like, you're one of them. There's no sense in that. You don't have to pay anything or anybody to teach you this. These videos will teach you everything you need to know. Okay? All right. I am going to jump off of here. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great Easter. I am just super excited about it. Like I said, you can have plenty of money to do these little things that you want to do if you're not throwing it away like little Miss Pris was over here. Okay? And I want you to be your best. I want you to do your best, and I want you to live